NRI Wellness. We bring you the latest in health and nutrition information, create customized nutrition programs, and walk you through the process to ensure your success. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another episode of the 10 Dimensions of Wellness. I am your host, the owner of NRI Wellness, Cammie Red, and today we have another dynamic guest on our show. We have Miss Janay Douglas, the owner of She's Inspired, the Society. Janay, thank you so much for being on our show. Tell us your personal experience. What brought you to this point? What's your personal wellness journey?
Oh my God, Cammie, first and foremost, thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure to just be in this space with you and to share space with you today, first and foremost. And every opportunity that I get to be able to share space with any dynamic duo, I'm so happy to do that. So thank you so much for that. And oh my God, my own personal experience was deciding that I wanted to have a legacy to leave. That was the first and foremost. And when I say that was because I'm a country girl, born and raised in the country. I love the country. I mean, dirt bike riding, mud type country, and I enjoy it. And one of the best things that I know about my family and my generation is that we are gifted beyond measure. We're so gifted that sometimes we sit on our own gifts out of fear. So this journey to wellness started there, but originally, can I tell you, it really didn't kick in until my father passed. December 2018, my dad died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it was a very tricky situation for me because we thought he had cancer at one point, didn't have cancer at the next. And to finally find out that he had progressed to stage 4, I was like shocked. And I was at the hospital as my dad transitioned. Many people get to say that they experienced death in their family member and they just died, and maybe you showed up and you were there at the after fact or whatever the case may be. For me, that situation was a little bit different. For a week and a half, I sat with my father and I watched him transfer from living to death. I watched him go from having full conversations with me, telling me that I should not have came home because I live in Atlanta and he's from Louisiana, to him saying to me, Janay, do you see that doorway right there or that hallway? It looks pretty and I want to be there, or I want our house to look like that. So I watched my father in all those stages transition to a place that I wasn't ready for him to go. That day, as I sat there with my father, I sat at the hospital every night with him. But the day that he actually left, I start to say to myself, my dad was gifted in so many areas. My father could draw. I remember him taking the funnies from the newspaper articles and redrawing them. My father could build whatever you put before him, whatever you showed him, he could build it, or he can just build out of square air. I just feel like he just was given these gifts and these abilities to do things and create things. And so I kind of understood why I got my creative side, and my parents both together are creative, but it also, I understood that he poured something into me that was beneficial to the creative that I have become. But I also realized that my dad died not using half of that stuff. He was okay with watching cartoons. He was okay with having his Dr. Peppers or hanging with his friends. Now, when people come who knew he had the ability, needed a deck for their backyard or needed him to build something, or my mom always doing these crafty things she wants him to create or whatever, he would do them, but that's not something he just jumped into. Now, me as a creative, I'm saying, dang, the gift that my father had, he could have used to do whatever he wanted and create whatever he wanted in this world, but he was okay. And so as I was listening to the people at his funeral thank him for just a deck, like a deck that they can go sit outside on, but it was so momentous to them. When they began to think, I was like, dang, my dad missed his calling. And I had a conversation with myself, Janay, are you gonna miss yours too? And in having that conversation, I felt like it was a come to Jesus moment, I guess you can say, for me. Because in that moment, I said, what have you been doing for the last umpteen years of your life? Where have you been going? You start some things, you didn't finish them. You picked up some stuff that you didn't do. You said you was going to do a lot of things that didn't happen. And I realized in that moment, fear really had me crippled. Like I was really, like Kimmy, when I tell you really crippled by fear, I was. And it wasn't the fear of failing, which most of us are. It was the feeling that it would actually work. Because now I'm surprising myself at what I could possibly do. And the fact that it could actually work, I'm saying, well, how do I keep it going? Because it's one thing to start something. It works for you. But it's another thing when you have to keep it going, keep the momentum there, keep people engaged, think of new ways to be creative with it. So that was my fear. It wasn't, okay, if it failed, it failed. I didn't care about that. But what do I do after it works? So I put my father in the ground December 15, 2018. And I said to myself, there goes my fear. My dad took fear with him that day. I buried my father. I buried my own fear. I buried my own frustrations. I buried my own thoughts of rejections, just my mental capacity. I buried everything that I thought that was negative to who I know that I am and should become. I was a dreamer, have been a dreamer my entire life. We all have gifts and abilities. And I realized my gifting early. I'm a dreamer. I can dream it. I can write it out. It's clear as day to me. I can see it. And I've had journals beyond journals of stuff that I've dreamed, said I was going to do. And even to this point of me, I'm in Atlanta now. I'm telling you, even to this moment, I said at 10 that I would live in Atlanta, not knowing how, why, or where it would come to pass, but knowing that's what I wanted to do. I also said at 10, I want to be a business owner, not knowing what that business was going to be, not knowing how I was going to start it, not knowing what I was going to do, but I had a passion to do it. Now, I had a lot of stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to be an actress. You know, I thought I could sing at some point in my life, you know. But one thing I found that's been a consistent was my gift and my ability to help others see themselves. So all of that has come to this circle of, I was fearful of succeeding. I didn't know how it was going to happen because I realized along the way, I'm one of those ones who have to know any and everything. I'm working on that because I don't need to. I just need to know what I'm doing today. So this journey for me has been eye-opening because rejections, because of frustrations, disappointments, all of those things encompassed in losing my parent, which I thought would never leave me till I was old and gray, to going to jobs. So it started for me there, losing my father. And you would say that was the end of it, because the spiral roll started when I got laid off my first job. And not only did I get laid off the job, Cammie, I worked for this company. I loved my job. I was at the highest of my life. I get a notice saying that I'm getting laid off. At this juncture, I am managing over 150 people. Not only am I getting the notice that I'm getting laid off, because we did follow things in corporate order, I have to go tell 150 people they too are being laid off. How do you do that? How do you tell someone whose family is predicated on the income that they're getting that you're not going to have this income anymore? I didn't understand it. But, you know, that little inclination, that little thing we feel that says it's time for you to do something else with your life, and we don't listen because we don't want to venture to see what the something else, because comfort is real good to us. That was happening to me, but I didn't want to let that go. And I was like, man, I'm getting good morning. I got some good people on my team. They take care of me. And I have now told them that we're losing our jobs. We did. Lost our job in September. And they called me back because the company had multiple contracts on different levels. I get a call, hey, can you come back? We want you to work. We love you. We want to keep you on staff. Even though you lost that contract, we have some more for you. How about I came back to a different contract, and 6 months later, I was gone again. And the CEO says, I hate to have to do this to you a second time. And again, during that 6 months, I had that same gut feeling that, Janay, it was time for you to do something else. It's time for you to move. It's time for you to go. And I even remember having a conversation with one of my employees, and I asked them this question. If you got the unction that it was time for you to move, would you really move? And he said, no, I'm good, I'm comfortable. And it's that word, comfortable, comfort, that pushes me to keep going. So from that transition of losing my job twice from the same company, to now trying to figure out what it is I want to do, to now losing my father, has been the most crazy journey that I have been on in the last 5 years of my life. I mean, it is crazy because even though I went back to a different company and, the same company, different platform, it still remains true that I'm not settled at this place. There's no settling for me. I don't feel the fulfillment. I'll get the enjoyment of working for someone else. Now, everybody's not supposed to be an entrepreneur, and I know that, but I remember and resonate on the things that's been embedded in me since I was a young person who said, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to employ people who need a job, not just want to work, but who need the job. And they need a place to actually build themselves. And matter of fact, I don't just want to employ people because they need a job. I want to help them start their job and they contract to me on my job because they're building their legacy and their wealth for themselves. But I also didn't want to leave my kids dead. And I don't have kids yet. And so I think that's kind of pivotal to me in my life because I haven't reached where I need to be. But I don't have kids yet. I'm 34 years old. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't have kids, but I want to leave them more than dead. I want to leave them options. Either I work for my mother's company, work for some company she decide build or she know or connection she know, or create their own. And I want to do that by being the example. So that's been my journey. That's been who I am, this country girl looking to strive to do more than just start somewhere. I mean, I play with a lot of things. I've threw a lot of, as the old adjective, I threw a lot of things at the gate hoping that something would stick. But for me, it was my heart to help. That was the basis of everything. I'm a volunteer person. I love volunteering my time. And I've helped from the Salvation Army on down to whatever needed, whoever needs me. And so what I realized on this journey to me, Janay, you're a helper. You're in the helps field. Stay there, be there, build yourself there. But how can you be helpful? And what impact are you going to make? And it's all because I need it for me. I needed someone there who would support my crazy dreams, my crazy thought processes, and not deter me from it. Because that's a problem we face. And that's a problem that I've seen is that we have dreams, but we're talking to the wrong people. I need dream pushers in my life. And I need people who believe when I tell you that I had this dream and this is what I see, but them not to tell me that ain't, nah, girl, you can't do that. That ain't gonna happen. No, I need the ones that's gonna say, yeah, Janay, you got it. So I become that. So I won't have to worry about needing that anymore. And as I become that, I build a team and a tribe of people who are that. Or as I'm becoming her, I'm connecting to so many people who have now said, you know what, I need that too. I didn't realize it, but yeah. And as I push them, we push each other. So that has been my journey to this place of just wanting to heal me in life, in love, in relationships, but build me, and not just build me, but build my community for real, for real.
So listen, Janay, you are the dreamer, the helper, the impactful. You are the all superwoman. You are a dynamic person. Let me ask you this. With all of that going on, we, like you said, we always come up against some things. What are things that people misunderstand about you?
My go-getting attitude. Sometimes in some arenas, I can be considered as not passionate or I don't have compassion. That's been the thing that's said. And it's not that I don't think that I don't have compassion, because where compassion is needed, I know how to insert it. I think for me, it's because I'm a resolutionist. If you come to me with a problem, don't come to me with that problem. You don't expect me to try to find a resolution, because that's what I want to do. Because obviously, I'm not the one to waddle in the pity type person. That ain't me. And my friends know that I can be straightforward and upfront just like that. Janay, if you want to waddle and be pitiful, you need to have several friends on top and just make sure I'm not the one you call. I'm not her. I am the one who said, you came to me, you said, Janay, I want to start a business. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to go, how to do it, what it looks like. And I say, what have you been doing? And you tell me nothing. Then what you want me to do? Or you say, I have this problem, Janay, and this is the problem, and this is my problem, and this is the problem. And I start telling you, well, if you handle it this way, move that way, and decide to do this, that fixes your problem, and you come back to me 2 weeks later with the same problem, I ain't that friend. Because then I'm going to say, didn't I just tell you that? Oh, okay. But see, I'm realizing how to finesse that and not be so curt with that, because I don't have the tolerance for indecisiveness, for one. I don't have the tolerance for us to figure it out. And I realized I had to step out of myself and say self, and myself say, and say, Janay, some people just want you to listen. And I get that. But the helper in me doesn't. Because the helper in me says they have a problem. If it's in my ability to fix it or offer a suggestion of something that resolutes to it, I'm going to give it. So they say, well, you're just not compassionate because, sometimes we need compassion. No, sometimes some people want you to say, oh, girl, I'm so sorry. Come on, let me pat you on your back. You're not a baby. And I believe that it comes from me as a kid. Excuse me. Excuse me. Me as a kid, my mother wasn't oh, you fall? Girl, get up. You okay? Are you dead? You're still good. Scrape your knee, girl. It's okay. I scraped mine too. Or as a kid, I'm crying. I want. But my mother was like, your neighbor well. You don't want too much. You good. And so as an adult, I can't get it. I can't get jiggy with it because I'm trying to understand, if you have a problem, why not want a resolution? If you want a way out, why not choose to listen to what I have to say? If you want to be better, I have my bad days. It's even, so sometimes I want somebody to show me a little compassion. So that's why I say I'm working on it, Kim, bear with me, I'm coming around. But in essence,
So, Janay, what's some of the common myths that you often dispel in business? Tell us some of the biggest challenges that you've actually faced in wellness and how you've overcome some of those things as well.
Oh, wow, the list goes on and on and on. But I think the biggest thing I had something set up. I had it in my mind, but just as I began to speak with you and you asked me that question again, I realized that's not what I wanted to say. So let me go what I really want to say. Because of the business that I am in, this is one of the biggest, I believe, all-time myths ever. Women can't work together. Women can't do it. That women aren't able to come together for a common cause to do something, build something, and be something. Must I tell you and start today to say I am a product of great mentorship by great women? And not just one great woman, multiple great women saw better in me and decided to bring out my best. And you heard I said they saw the better, but instead brought out my best because they cultivated and curated the person that I have become. And so I get that so much, that how are you going to start something for women? And even till some people have had conversations with me, Cammie, saying, oh, so you just pro-woman type situation? No, I just believe that as women, we birth everything. We are true natural birthers, and whatever we believe, put into our inner being and our inner self, we can make it happen. A man is great with a woman. He has the seed, she's a bearer. So if he gives her the seed, whether it's his vision, his dream, his whatever, a woman somewhere in life helped him come to it. helped him create it, helped him maintain it, helped him build it, because they can't give birth. It is what it is. So to say that women can't work together, the biggest thing, because I work with a lot of women. My full staff is women. It wasn't intentional. A little bit intentional. But I wanted to pull that together, that we can do it. We can really come together and build. And the way I function in She's Inspired in Society is based off connecting with awesome women who have gone through something, have a purpose and a passion, and they're in their passion journey now. And I connect them to others who, one thing I realized about doing business, and it was taught to me by a great mentor, I don't care how many other people are doing the same thing you're doing, you're called to a group and that's your purpose. Just like they're called to their group and that's their purpose. We aren't called to everyone. And when we begin to realize that together as a unit of people, we are the body, and we really operate in one accord with the billions and millions and trillions of people in the world, do you honestly believe that one person is going to touch all of them? Not a chance. So when I came to the understanding of explaining to people that, hey, you can be great in being you. I just want to use your greatness for when I realize I'm weak in that. That's not a strong suit for me. So let me connect you to another great individual. And it goes back into the corporate world that I worked in. The one thing we talked about was, we never said, we had a third party group that did some work for us, right? They were a third party group and they owned by a totally separate company. But when you had a conversation with us, no one ever knew that they were a third party group, because they were a part of us. They were our extension. They were who we were. And so when we women start to come together to realize that, yes, because you have a business in wellness, Cammie, and that ain't my forte to build wellness and nutrition, all that good jazz and jiggle. But I can say, hey, when I'm having conversations with my other mentors, coaches, whatever I'm doing, to say, I have a good friend in my square of people, my tribe of people who's able to do this thing. Let me connect you with her. I'm not worried about what I don't have or what money I lose. I'm more worried and concerned about the life I just helped and saved and built up. Because when I build you up, it builds me up. So when they're having conversations with you, and maybe it's somebody you can't help, they stuck on the idea and they've been trying to get this idea out for the longest, you can say, well, let me get you over to my sister Janay. Because that's what she do. She's helping you birth in these things. I wanted to say I was a midwife, but I don't think I'm a midwife. I think I'm in the brain with them at this time. Because a midwife is there with you in the process of when the baby's already forming, and it's walking with you on your journey and bringing it out of you and all that good stuff. I think that I was there. I'm in the seed. I'm the seed with you. Because in the seed with you, I'm taking the thing that you wish you can get out and bring to fruition, to get it going. Like, I'm the pusher for the seed. You know, I don't know how graphic I can
You the fertilizer. That's what you are.
I was like, how graphic can I go? Because I'm talking about birthing at this point.
Listen, and, this is an adult show. I don't care.
So people who trying to TTC, trying to conceive, some people have to go get some lubrication to make sure that the seed stays in and makes its way. So I had lubrication to help that seed plant itself to a place.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure it was okay.
We got that. We
say that. And so, and that's the myth I wanted to dispel, because we are great together. We as a body, and it's not just about women, but I'm a woman. I can't tell a man how to be. I can suggest to him what is beneficial for him. But I can't tell him, because I'm not a man and I haven't walked in that role or deal with the disparities that they have to deal with as a man. So I can suggest based upon my experiences, but that's all I can do. As a woman, we share the same burdens. We share the same trials. We share the same tribulations. We share the same ups and downs. We share a lot, whether it's identical or not. The wavelength is still the same. The experiences are congruent to each other. And so the myth that we can't work together, you know why we can't, or why there is the myth in the beginning, is because we're selfish. And we're always thinking that I'm going to lose out on something by giving it away. But the greater gain, I think the old adage is that when you give, you receive more. The more I give away, the more I receive. And that's really because we've taken the notion of, it's for me, I got to get it for me. And we've been in places of rejection. We've been in places of frustration. We've been in places where we weren't supported by others. We've been in places where things were taken from us. And now you have labeled every person to be that one way. So when I was dating, right, Cammie, I had this one guy who continually said what we do as women. You know, we date, we trying to get to know each other. And he would always refer them and put us in the mold together. Okay, we are women. There's some similarities in all of us. But give me my fair shot was always my thing to him. Let me be who I am. Make my mistakes personally and not hold me for the accountabilities of others. If we begin to see that as women, that, yeah, maybe somebody did take your idea and run with it. Okay, so you know better next time. If we look at the lessons learned,
let me tell you something about what you just said. It's funny that you say that, because I'm about to put this in a perspective to dispel all people from ever thinking that again. As a chef, you can create a recipe. If I change one ingredient or one measurement in that recipe, it then becomes mine. So if you have an idea, your idea is your original idea. If someone has that idea, they're not going to be able to translate it the exact same way you did. So they're going to tailor it to fit their own, just like most people do with recipes. You have recipe variations that have been passed on from years and years and years. You have variations that were created by chefs. You have famous chefs that are known for dishes that have been around for years. They didn't invent that dish, they recreated it.
Yeah.
So in a situation where you ever hear somebody say, oh, somebody took my idea and ran with it, well, guess what? What's preventing you from still taking that idea and running with it too? Because they're not going to do it the exact same way you did. Y'all are two different people with two different mindsets, with two different visions.
And two different approaches.
Thank you.
So you took the words completely out of my mouth. And I said, we get so stuck at that place that we can't see the bigger picture. It goes back to, again, whether they took it or not, they have a group that they're called to. They're going to have a way of delivering that message that is not going to be you. You are uniquely you. And I believe that once and my thing is push for originality. I always say this, I'm the original version of myself. Every time I say something, I say I'm getting back to the original version of myself, because my originality is not the originality of anyone else. It's me, uniquely me, and my thought processes. And when you begin to understand that you're not offended by any other person doing whatever they said they want to do. I say that personally because right now, Cammie, I know for a fact someone is doing the exact same thing as a product that I have going on with She's Inspired. Not to the exactness of what I'm doing, but they're doing it. I have not budged nor stopped my promotion, my marketing. I have not been despaired about it. I didn't call them and go off on them about it. I'm letting you do you, because there's a community that I'm not going to touch, and you got them. Congratulations, sister. That means we're working together. We have a same cause. And when we realize that, like on a spiritual basis, my thing has always been, we ride the same wave. We move powerful when we're together. Yeah. We only, like, you can move mountains together, but you can only move hills by yourself. And most people need to understand that you may be moving a small group, but you and I talked about this off the air, me building my team under the 10 dimensions of wellness. Right.
I can promote the 10 dimensions of wellness. I can teach classes on all 10 of those dimensions, but we know I'm an expert in physical wellness. I'm an expert in yoga. I'm an expert in nutrition. I'm an expert in food. Okay.
Right.
So in order for me to make this make sense, my team must be strong, which means that we must work together. And it needs to be people who have the same mindset, doing the same thing that I'm doing, who are working towards the same goals that I'm working towards, because otherwise it will not work.
Yes. And that's the beauty of being connected. My mentor said to me a long time ago, she said, I hope to be like grapes clustered together because they find strength in growing when they're clustered. And I've taken that with me because it teaches me two things. One, I'm never an island by myself. And if I believe that I'm called to even do my purpose or do this purposeful journey by myself, I'm wrong, because it was never meant for that to happen. What was meant to happen is for me to connect to someone like you, Cammie, when we've realized off air we have some similarities to the T of us. And together that's like, okay, purposeful connections, intentional connections. So despairing that thought of we can't work together is definitely a lie, because look at this. This is a product of working together. Two different worlds, but building one common cause.
That's right. That's very true. You and I both, and that's the crazy part. Like, I love that you said that, because believe it or not, that's a common myth that we are all working to dispel, the fact that women can't work together. I literally can show you all of the people that I've worked with, all of the women that I've worked with, they are all women. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not it's not the men, it's all women. All the people that's on my show have been primarily women.
Mm-hmm. And it's because, and really that, I think, for me, and this is my public opinion, y'all can come at me if you want to, but I clap right back. So, you know, it is what it is. But it really, to me, was the start of that. To me, came from a place of insecurity. And women fail to admit sometimes that they are insecure. And men will call it out because they can smell it a mile away. They will call out your insecurities quick because they see it. You're playing it out right in front of them. But we're just as much as we're insecure to men, we're insecure to other women. And trust issues, generational stuff.
That's what we talked about, off the air. Healing each other from, the trauma, the trust, the issues of, years. And this is not even just our trauma and our trust issues. These are trauma and trust issues that date back to the days of slavery. We are carrying that much trauma on us to this day.
And so imagine how much more trauma we've carried from the slavery to our family, because that's more personal now. That's a deeper weight for me now, because now I'm connected to it. It's a disadvantage for me because I'm carrying their weight. I'm carrying my mama's frustrations, my daddy's frustrations, my sister's frustrations. And so it makes it hard for me to say, you know what, I'm going to open up full accord to a person I don't know. And I use this one as the biggest one I want to dispel, because it's also relational. We need to learn in this season of building how to build relationship with women as we chase relationships with men. It is what it is.
Preach. Did she just, I don't know if y'all can hear me pounding on the table over here, but she just said a mouthful right there. Repeat that, please.
We need to learn how to cultivate and build relationships with women just like we chase relationships with men. You want a relationship with a man badly, so you do and put on for whatever it is that you think you need at that moment. I'm not saying let's do and put on for women. I'm saying, but you need the value of to say, I have this relationship, not just a personal relationship, but this person is a business advocate for me. There was a meme that goes around on Facebook that says, I like friends that are in rooms saying my name. If you check your friend list right now, women, male or female, males, you too. If you're checking your list of friends right now, how many of you can actually say your friends are talking about you when you're not around? When they're in professional settings and they see that something that you are expert on, they're saying, hey, I got a girl, I got a homie who can do this for you. That's the type of relationships we should be building. And trust me, I've been to many women empowerment sessions, many vision board parties. I mean, I can't even count them all. I'm sorry, I can't even count them all. But you know, one of the things that was a lack for me in those situations, Cami, I go there, I pay my money because I do believe in investing. I believe in supporting my sister. But I get there, she gives me information most of the time I already know. Two, when she say I want to connect with you and help you grow and help you build, that's a lie. Because after it's over with, there's no follow-up. There's no reaching out to me. I know that I'm not going to be able to touch everybody eventually, but I want to stay as personable as possible. Because I want them to always know that when I say my business is built on being a support system for you, they can never say Miss Janay has never stepped down to make sure I was there. I want that personal touch. We need to go back to the days of personal touch. But how can I personal touch you if I don't have a personal relationship with you? Relationship building is number one. I didn't understand why my job wanted me to be a client relationship manager. I thought we need that for. But when I got into it, I realized I know how to foster relationships. Okay, this is a benefit because now you're getting stuff because of my relationship, on the strength of my relationship. You should want to build relationships. And I don't want us to be in the mag to building relationships because they know, they can do something for you. Let's not go down that road. Let's be genuine. As much as I give, and as much as you take, be the same giver and allow me to take the same. Let this be a mutually beneficial relationship because we do have those out there. Not gonna name them, not gonna call them a name.
No, they are. There's a name for those. Those are our friends that we call takers.
Leeches. We have plenty of them.
Those are those friends. We have those friends. Those are the ones that only call when they have a problem. They call when they need something from you, and let me say this, I'm not judging anyone because I myself might have been that taker friend at some point in my life.
Just about to say that. Let me please put my own transparency out there in first and foremost, because I knew no better.
Yeah.
Because I saw that was the product of what I saw. And so I saw that I would call you when it was beneficial to me. Now, granted speaking, I'm a giver. What I have, the access that I have, the resources that I have, I don't mind giving it away. Because we don't build effective community until we learn how to share our resources. And I date that back to watching my grandmother
Hold on. I need you to repeat that one more time. So you already know. You knew it was coming. Because literally, like, I don't know how to express this enough to people that is what's missing nowadays is the community, the building of community, the working together with each other. I've talked about my age and how old I am, but what I remember from my childhood is it wasn't just my family that raised me. It was the neighborhood, our neighborhoods. Like the kids played together. We fed each other. My grandmother fed all the kids at lunchtime, and your grandma fed all the kids at dinner time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was community. It was family. And it wasn't like what I said to someone was we were social distancing before they required us to social distance.
That's true. And to say that, Cami, is so prevalent because that's exactly what I was going to say. My grandmother, my family is the epitome of that. So when I'm not gonna lie, I moved to a certain area that I'm currently in now. It was a little different. I didn't get into the community spaces. I got into the rules for the ones that were building themselves and they were to themselves. Or I got into the areas where other nationalities were prevalent and they were to themselves. But I came from a family. My grandmother was one of 15. She had 7 kids. And we have a host of nieces, nephews, cousins, uncles, and all above. I came from a family where every Sunday we eat family dinner together. All of my grandmother's children come together and they each take turns in cooking. To current, to 2020, my mother, my aunt, my uncle, and another uncle rotate Sundays of cooking to spend that time together as a family. And so community is big for me because what I watched growing up in my childhood, and this goes back to what women can do together. And I'm just going to put this out there. My grandmother had a beautiful garden. She still gardens to this day, and she's 93 years strong. Matter of fact, she just told me to come down and give me some corn and some stuff that she done put in her garden.
Hold on, girl. Listen, my grandmama is a year younger than your grandmama. She got a garden in the heart of Atlanta. I am not playing with you. You know what a federal penitentiary is down there in Thomasville, right?
Yes.
She got a house down there, okay? She has a garden. And when I say a garden, the garden has been growing. I'm 40 for 40 years, longer than that, okay?
Yes.
So she grows her own peppers, her own greens, her own corn, her own, girl, I told you.
Everything.
Yeah,
and so that was my first instance that women could work together, because my grandmother, of course, Black, I'm Black, Black American, born and raised, beautiful Black. I am mixed. We ain't gonna talk about all that. My grandmother would grow her garden. This older white lady that's living down the street, named Miss Mary, had her garden. When my grandma would grow the collards, Miss Mary would grow the black-eyed peas. This other lady down the street named Miss Key. Miss Key would grow the tomatoes. And so I would watch them say, well, my grandma would say, I ain't growing black-eyed peas this year if you already got them. And Miss Key would say, well, I ain't going to grow the greens this year since you got them. I got the tomatoes, and I just make sure they grow. And all the other things that they grew. But I watched them exchange this stuff with each other. And they gave to each other. And they decided that if one was doing one thing, we're not going to do it and make a whole bunch of stuff, because we can just share, and they make enough for each other. So I watched that occur as an adult in the mentorship that I've happened. I have mentors from the CDC to the federal government, down to the preachers, the teachers, the whatever you want to call them, name it. I've watched them all pour into me, each a different area of my life. I've watched the 6 individuals in my life that are closest to me become the greatest asset to me as friends, because they're talking my language. I have best friends, kid you not, 20 years and plus, high school, college. Are they in my inner workings right now? I love them. I truly love them. And if they need me, without a dot on my head, I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying? But right now, for where I'm driving, they are just better at their places of where I love them. And I'm okay with that. And so when we get past our insecurity of, I'm not going to have this person in my life forever. For one, if you stuck there, that's a problem. 2, if we learn that there's a piece of me that Cammie needs, and there's a piece of Cammie that she can get from me. And when you realize you have a weakness, let's first acknowledge, I, Janay Sharice Douglas, my full governmental name, have a weakness. And I can't do it all by myself. When you first acknowledge that within yourself, because we do think we're superwomen. We've been told that for so long, that we're superheroes and superwomen. We can do all things and whatever we put our mind to. We can do a lot. We still need a man. But anyway, we can do a lot. We can do a lot. But that's just some things we need help with. And isolation is never good, because isolation turns into mental issues, depressions that we don't want to tackle, because you're going to start so much. You may succeed for a while, but rejection comes in and you're unhappy. So if we combat all of those things and saying, I need a team. Cammie, I heard you say it. I need a team. I'm good at physical, this, and this. I need a team. And you acknowledge that within your inner self first, that you are superwoman in a lot of things, but that's just some things that's not your forte. And so you acknowledge that, and you are opening yourself to that. If we could dispel the myth that we won't work together, but ultimately open ourselves up to say, I need you, Like, you're my sister. What better way to have a sister in business who can understand my trials and tribulations? What better way? What better opportunity than to have someone who is there for me, like my sister?
This is a 2-second nutrition tip. Today's tip is ask your doctor about regular cholesterol and blood pressure screenings. Those are important as you get older. This has been a 2-second nutrition tip. So, Janay, tell us about all of the services that you provide. Let's start with your one-on-one coaching program. Walk us through the process behind that, from the discovery to the end results.
Awesome. Cool. So she's inspired the society. It's dually, it's a couple of different things. But from the process of the society, I tell everyone to book a discovery call with me, because I believe in conversation goes a long way. And I believe that merely having conversation helps me to hear what's not necessarily being said. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of how I operate, because I can tell basis our conversation what you really need as opposed to what you think you need. And so I'm a big person who deals in needs versus wants. And sometimes we want some things, but we really need to deal with some other things. And so I do that in the discovery call with you. It's no formality of, hey, the strenuous checklist that we have to go through, but it's just have a conversation, because we're about building ideation to manifestation. That means you have ideas within you and you just don't understand how to get them out. So I said, let's just talk to me like we're talking on a Friday afternoon after work, and you had a long week, but then what's troubling you about some things that you're trying to accomplish? And in that I can say, well, yeah, I want to tackle this with you, or no, I think you should start here first and to refer you to someone else. But I do that because I'm intentional. We talked about intentional a lot throughout this podcast, and I'm intentional because not every contract is worth me signing my agreement to. I'm intentional with my agreement, because that means I agree to whatever they're doing, however they're doing it, and whatever means they're going about to get it done. I don't give my agreement to everybody, because my agreement means I'm also accountable. I take full accountability to my agreement. So I have the discovery call for us to talk about it. Let's think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and let's just talk about it. From that stage of talking about it, I've then formulated in my mind some things we can begin to work on. Everything starts with acknowledgement. That's acknowledgement of self, acknowledgement of your awareness to the things that you're trying to accomplish, because we ultimately want to accomplish a thing first and not deal with self. So if I'm telling you that it's based upon inspiring you to be great in your own life, but inspiring you to be great in your purpose, you can't find purpose without understanding your passion, and you can't understand your passion without understanding yourself. So we moved from the discovery call, and now I set up a course of calls that we will have, or video chats that we will have over a number of weeks. And in that, we're doing self-work. I do have course, not necessarily course content, but workbook content that we journal through, we go through, we delve in over those weeks. And honestly, my thing is 21 days, they say forms the habit. I give you 30 days for us to form a solid one. That means you should be doing your own work on your own accord. And when we come together, I'm merely confirming or affirming work that you have already begun to do. So we tackle that. Now we've tackled your issues, and I may see within our process that you need a little therapy. You need a little one-on-one time. Now I'm helping you bring purpose to life, but I'm not gonna do your therapy either. I connected with a beautiful socialite this is her profession. She's a certified therapist in all things from substance abuse to life coaching. And I connect you with her because I see that realistically you want to get to a place of purpose, but you have a lot of roots that are still tangled. We want to be shackle free when we walking into purpose, because anytime you walk into your purpose or to start to walk into your purpose and you're still shackled to things of your past, purpose fails always because you're still holding on to past. So I want to ensure that you're free from those things. And it's not an overnight process to be free. And if I need to take a little more time with you and we need to spend a little more work, then we'll do that throughout the process. But you go from discovery to really the root phase. I call it the root phase because we're dealing with things. We're dealing with ourselves. We're dealing with what it is. And then maybe you're not that deep and don't need all the extra work. You know, you might not be that crazy. You'll be like partially crazy and we can work it out. I mean, we all got a little bit of crazy in us, you know. We go from that place to what I call the movement stage. Movement stage from your roots is now I have the freedom to walk into the movement of who I am going to become. What does that look like? When you dream of the person that you want to become, when you dream of the thing that you want to do, how do you put that on the board? Let's goal that out. I said earlier, I've been to many vision parties, right? Tired of them. I'm tired of them because sometimes we go into these places doing vision parties with no real active visions. They're just pieces of paper we put on a board of things that we think we want and not necessarily what we really need. And so we go into these vision parties because they're fun, they're cute. We're going to drink us some mimosas, some wine, some liquor for some who do that right there. And we never really be intentional about the things that we put on the board. Yes, for some people, you say, I want to be married. It goes on your board. Why do you want to be married? Yes, for some, they say, I want to have this thing right here. Why do you want the thing you want? Because when you don't understand, when you don't really have a why to the end of things, if you put on these boards, there's no drive to get it. There's no drive to become it or no drive to do it. So I want to have real goal setting parties where I want to know, what is your why? Why do you want to attain this goal or strive for this goal? So we talk about that in movement. That's putting the things together, the plan together to then walk out what we're going to do. And then lastly, we call the action ride, because now you've put the movement of the plan together. You're saying, and the action ride, I'm going to be held accountable. That accountability means I'm going to do the things that I have committed to do. I read somewhere, Cammie, that says, I'm not going to quote it exact, but it was saying like a plan without a date is just that. It has no action to it. It has no drive behind it. It has no anything. But when I put a date to something, when I deadline a thing, that means I'm driving myself to get that done in the time frame in which I've set for myself. And then it's not that deadline is not a place for us to, this action time is not a place for you to say, these are my hard deadlines. And then if I didn't make it, be upset or feel disappointed because I didn't make it completely. My quote that I tell myself every day, slow progress is still progress. And if you can see that you have actually made a change from the person that you have become, but were, to the person that you're becoming, then that right there is working itself. So you just revisit your action plan to say, I didn't meet this time frame for my goal, but this is my new date. And I'm going to strive to keep pushing with those things that we planned out in movement to make it happen in my actionable drive. So that's kind of how I move with that particular process. Like I said, she's inspired couples two sides. You have the creative side and you have the society, which we do it with adults. It's for the society. And I love working with my women. I eventually want to do that with young women as well, to build from them as well. Then we have creative, which creative encompasses anything from event management to business management. And that's kind of self-explanatory. So if you need us from that particular skill, then you can reach out as well. So that's kind of what we do. And that's how that process works, Cammie.
So, Janay, you actually have something else that you need to talk to us about. You are releasing a book on September the 27th called Love Note. So, let's talk about that. Let's not act like,
And if I can say that on here, yes. So Love Notes is dear to me. It is everything. It goes back to this root work we're talking about. And as I just released recently on my own personal social medias, I told the why Love Notes came about. And it happened for me because I came from a broken relationship. And we do not understand what happens and what's shaped when we have those moments of disappointments and frustrations and rejections. We don't know how it shapes our future in seeing things. And I created this journal book. It's 52 weeks. It's a 52-week interactive journal. And it's really my thoughts, because it derived from a place of brokenness, but the end result was so beautiful. And how I got these things was, I used to write Dear Future Husband quotes on Facebook. And they came from my brokenness. I had a great friend. We need friends, guys, because they see us when we can't see ourselves. And she said to me, I had that relationship. We broke up, but I went back to that relationship after being broken up for a year. I go back and it's the same thing. So I just set myself up for failure, thinking that it was going to be something different, when I knew in my heart of hearts it was the same thing. And so my best friend saw that in me. She's like a sister to me. And she said, you need to deal with that, because dang, it's harming your output, your perspective on life, what you see in other men. And you need to deal with that, because ain't no man going to want to deal with somebody who's broken. And I was like, girl, who you talking to at first? And then I said, so what are you trying to say? She said, you should start writing. You love to write. Writing is what you do. Write it out. And she said, I'm not talking about go get a journal, but if you do that, that's fine. She said, but I want you to go get some note cards and a box, the best looking box you can find, and some pretty stationery. And every time you have an insecurity about something that came from that relationship, write it out. But I talked about this earlier, even for my own self, I'm a resolutionist. So it just didn't find my insecurity. It was, now I see the insecurity. I can verbalize it enough to know, now I need to find a resolution for it. So love notes, or those couple thoughts of the Dear Future Husbands that I was writing to him when I figured out my issue, and when I started to correct my own issue. And so I am super excited about love notes, and that it's coming out. It's 52 weeks that I want you to journal with yourself. We talked about it a little bit off air and some on air. We talked about it, self-evaluation. That's what that book is, that journal book is about. It's about evaluating yourself in love and relationships, and saying, are you truly ready to be loving and in love? Because you can't be something, you can't do something that you do not become. And in order to do love, I must become love and be loving. So are you really ready for that? And I don't believe in this in whatever relationship, because right now, sidebar my podcast, I just talk, I rant, on my own terms and stuff. And I just did a recent podcast, and a good client of mine that I'm working with, I did a podcast called A Love of a Different Kind. And he was saying the biggest issue in his relationship, he's in a homosexual relationship, and he said the biggest thing of his relationship is what he wasn't true to him. He wasn't true to himself and what he desired and wanted. And I believe that when he made that statement to me, I was like, dang, that's everybody in every.
I was just getting ready to say that. Like, I was waiting for you to stop for a moment, and I was getting ready to say, well, dang, that's sort of everybody. Like, we all go through that. Like, we all have those aha moments. Like, you know what? I was in this relationship because I wasn't who I really was. I wasn't living authentically. I wasn't true to what I wanted. And that's why I was unhappy in this relationship. That's why this relationship was toxic. That's why this relationship failed. That's why, because, and it probably, had absolutely nothing to do with the other person. That other person was who they are.
Yeah.
But who I wanted, or who I thought I wanted, was technically not them.
And when he said that, Kimmy, the only thing I could think about is how hard it is for us to admit a truth about ourselves that we've been denying for so long. Because so many people are stuck in relationships and won't be real with themselves. And so that was what that book was about. It was about how to journey through your life in love, and not journey through your life with loving someone else, but first loving you. And what does that look like on a scale of dealing with your own issues first, like we do in my business? Deal with yourself first, then you can be whole to deal with someone else.
Yeah, I want your book. You're going to have to send me the link. You're going to have to Yeah, you're gonna have to make sure we know when the book release party happening. You're gonna have to post all of that, because yeah, we talked off the air about healing from trauma, but these are the steps and these are the tools that are needed in all of our lives in order to orchestrate that healing that we keep saying needs to take place. The crazy part about it is, you know, to be self-aware is a gift. So to always be learning self, to always be immersed in self, to know how to deal with self is a gift also. So your book is literally a gift for everybody.
Thank you. And it really was for people ask me if it's for women or men, and I said right now it looks pretty for a woman, but I think both men and women can definitely learn from it and grow from it. And it's nothing deep. But see, what I realized is the simple questions that we don't ask ourselves. And those very questions that we definitely try to evade so much are the ones that we should be asking. And that's what I do. So I'm calling you to the carpet on yourself. What do you do? Who are you? And how good are you to be in love? Are you really a loving person? Because some people just ain't loving, but do you want love?
See, and I think that's why I said I'm gonna go ahead and purchase a copy of your book. Because listen, we can say these are the things that we want, but you know, let's be honest. Each year we change and we grow. So your book, believe it or not, we should all immerse in something like this every 52 weeks, to be completely honest with yourself. Our desires change, our needs change, our lifestyles change. So how do you know what you wanted at 20 is what you want at 40? How do you know that? Because life is so drastically different.
Yes. So that's the it. That is the it. That is the why I created Love Notes. But it was also to say that we're not 100. And to tell people to doing their own box journey. Because when you begin to write out your insecurities, it's just like the burning method, how they would tell you to write out something, then burn it up because it goes away. But it's a different thing to do that and to see you burn it up, it goes away. But what if you actually have to go back and read the stuff you wrote? To me, that gives you a better evaluation of where you come from. Because how do you know where you've come if you don't know where the starting point was? And
Absolutely.
Yourself.
Yeah, that's like in my mentorship program. What we do is we keep record of the goals. We keep record of the goals, but we also keep record of the milestones. We celebrate the small steps. The reason why is because if over a year I can show you how far you've grown from where you used to be, and I can track it and show it and, you know, prove it to you because you've kept up with your end of the bargain. I've kept up with my end of the bargain. So we actually have actionable, you know, information here, online data showing this is when you started. This was the first task you did. This was when you met this first goal. This is how you did this. When you can go back and see those things, it brings you to a deeper appreciation of who you are and where you are right now.
Yes. And I think eventually with this, I'm going to open up accountability sessions, because I don't want you just to go through, I don't want it to be, I zoom through the 52 weeks. I want you to take each week and really meditate on it, really search yourself during those weeks as about whatever I can think off the top of my head was one of the things I said in the journal book is that I was a control person. I needed to know everything. Like, surprises, hated them. And I realized that's an issue. I don't have to control everything. I don't have to be in full control. I can release this stuff, because what if my partner is a person who likes to give surprises? And I'm one who's stuck on needing to know, and I can't appreciate the surprise because I didn't know about it.
But see, you know what? There's also trust too. And a lot of women don't understand that. They have trust issues, deep-rooted trust issues that manifest in different ways.
Yeah.
So this would bring about, I mean, literally your journal would make them have to face
themselves.
Though, yeah, themselves. And a lot of people, a lot of women, and I'm not saying that your book is geared towards women, but it's written from the thought process of a woman. So it really is, it's for women, but it's unisex. It's translatable to men. However, we all know that. Yep. So for me, I think that women would appreciate this, and it's you know what? You know what I'm about to say. You need to teach a class on it. You need to just go on and develop an entire workshop and course around the book where you teach it and they go through this process, and you mentor them for the first 3 months, and then the rest of it is a self-guided situation, and maybe they come back in the last month to show progress, but boom, there you go. You got a whole class. See, there we go. Y'all, this is what we be talking about off the air, by the way. So
yes, this is a divine connection indeed.
So, but okay. Now that we know Love Notes is coming out on September the 27th, you guys, tell us how we can connect with you. Your website, email address, business phone number, social media, put the people on blast. Let them know how they can find you.
Awesome. So for me personally, I do connect with my personal page if you want to, because the same information I share on my personal, I do share on all social media platforms, but I am Janay Sharice on Facebook. She Inspired the Society is on Facebook. She Society, the Creative Suite is also on Facebook, and our website is www.shethesociety.com. Instagram is the same, She the Society. So be sure to follow me on all social medias. I do not bite, so I do want to help. And if you have a question in general about what else, how do we offer the services, or in depth more questions, please hit me up. Either one of those platforms work perfectly for me. For the book, the website is going to be launched when we go live for pre-orders, so you got to be on the lookout. You have to connect with me to figure that out.
All right, Janay, thank you so much for providing us with your contact information. And you guys know we write articles about all of our guests, so you can always find out more information about Janay on our website, as well as all of her contact information on NRI Wellness, and just click the link about guests, and it'll give you all of our guests. We order them from most current to past, so you can read about everybody there. Also, don't forget about our Facebook group, 10 Dimensions of Wellness. Most of our guests, including Janay, will be dropped into that group, so you can contact her in there as well, you guys. So it's that time where we get to those last 4 questions that we ask our guests on the show as we wrap up the 10 Dimensions of Wellness. Don't get scared, Janay. It's actually really fun, and it's going to be cute. My first question for you is, what's been the biggest surprise that you've had in the last few months?
A great young strapping a great friend came into my life, and it's all about, it kind of goes back to a lot of the things that we talked about throughout the whole process, intention. And when I became intentional about my own happiness, I saw where if you were intentional about it, someone comes in and adds to it. So it's been a good couple of months,
Okay, what do you wish you had known 10 years ago that you know now?
To be honest, oh gosh, 10 years ago would put me at 24. I would say that I wish I understood relationships better, because there are some relationships I lost because of my own self-sabotaging ways. And I wish I understood the meaning that they could be for me in my future. So if I could tell her something at 24, I would tell her, girl, don't self-sabotage. Allow those relationships to play out and be staple holders in your life. So yeah.
All right. What inspires you and makes you feel like your best self?
Oh my God. The fact that I helped someone. That may seem real cliche, but I realized at a young age that that's what I've been doing since I was a kid. And so to really genuinely hear someone come back to me and say, you helped me get to this place, you helped me become this person, or you helped me to do this and I'm doing it. That's I don't know, it just makes me feel good, because sometimes I don't feel equipped to do this. I don't feel like I am in a place to do this or should be doing this. But I believe that when we have a gift in something, it's not about what we're ready to do, it's about what we're supposed to do. And so just to hear that, to me, lets me know that every day that I strive to be better. I made a post the other day, not recently, that said, I didn't choose this. I didn't focus on my calling for myself. I focused on it for everybody that I was connected to. So that makes me happy.
I love that. That's awesome. All right. My last question for you is, if you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it say and why?
It would say live blissfully, exclamation point 3 times. Because we get so caught up in our day to day, we get so caught up in being the best and the baddest that we forget to live. We forget to be in the moment. We forget to take the time to just say thank you to ourselves sometimes. Sometimes you're like, girl, thank you for just controlling your tongue when you wanted to go off, or thank you for just sitting down and taking that self-care moment that you did. So I would say live blissfully, because we're losing too many lives in this world today to not live in every moment, and not just live in the moment, be present. Be actually there and accountable for what's happening in that moment. That was my motto for the year. That was my theme for the year, live blissfully. So if I could put it anywhere and all over the world, I would tell everyone to do the same thing.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, you guys, this has been another dynamic interview with Miss Janay Douglas, the owner of She's Inspired the Society. She has a book coming out, Love Notes, on September the 27th. Janay, I just want to thank you so much for giving us your time. I'm so grateful for you being here, for you just blessing us with this knowledge, for you just allowing us in your space and in your area. I'm so grateful for it. So thank you so much.
Grateful for you for just allowing me the opportunity. No opportunity is ever just a happenstance. This is all intentional. So thank you so much.
Oh, this has been so awesome. You guys, don't forget, you can hear our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora Music, Google Music, Apple Podcasts, and now we are actually on Amazon Music as well. How exciting. That and a plethora of other audio platforms. Don't forget, you can also listen to our podcast on our YouTube channel. It's just the audio version for now, but guess what? We have video interviews coming soon. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, NRI Wellness. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, The 10 Dimensions of Wellness, and put it in your search bar. It'll pull up our group. Join it. Be active. Get with some of these guests. They can be great mentors for you. Join some of their programs. Don't forget, we're working to balance you across all facets of wellness. This has been yet another dynamic episode. I'm so grateful for our guests as well as our listeners. Thank you so much and have a great night.
If you want to be seen, you have to stop being invisible to opportunity. I'm Kay Henry, licensed mental health counselor and host of Black Therapy Uncensored. Your prescription of positivity starts here.
NRI Wellness brings you the latest health and nutrition information, creates customized nutrition programs, and walks you through the process to ensure your success.